All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. This is Don Kaufman. Starting here just momentarily. Make sure that you're tuned in, turned on. Feel free to chat in where you might be joining us from. And again, welcome. Just flip down the camera over here. Welcome to St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands. It's quite pleasant here today. I know that some of you are actually trapped in a fairly hideous heat wave. That's why I was asking where everybody's actually from. So feel free to chat in. Yeah, nice. Somebody, the first person that actually chatted in was you're in Chicago, Chi-Town. I hear it's a balmy 98 degrees without humidity there. So yeah, try to stay indoors because that is brutal. I did my time in Chicago. I'm done. I am done. We get a nice ocean breeze here. It's 86 always. Yeah. All right. With that, Texas. So I'm actually headed back to Arizona this week, just for a few weeks. We're gonna go back over to Arizona. Still got some places out there. Should be nice. Should be 108, maybe 110, maybe 112 if we're lucky. Anyway, it's always interesting kind of flying around. With that, let's get started here. Let's get started right off the bat. So today, this is going to be vastly different. If you've been to any presentations we've done here at TheoTrade, well, welcome and welcome back. If you've never been here before, who here is brand new, willing to admit it? By the way, people always ask the question, is this live? This is about as live as it gets. In fact, if you're kind of curious, we're going to look in some trades today. This is the Tastyworks platform. SPOOs, by the way, means it's the S&P 500. SPOOs are trading up some 90 handles, 90 points, up 2.5%. So it's a ripping day. It's if there's one signature of the bear market, it's the rally. And it's the relentless, what we kind of term rip you face off rally kind of a day. I like it. So we're gonna have a lot to talk about today. And by the way, today is, as I was saying, again, if anybody willing to chat in that you're brand new here today, have absolutely no idea what a TheoTrade or a Don Kaufman happens to be, because this presentation is going to deviate considerably away from some of the presentations that we've done, and I think that's important. With that, let's go ahead and get started here. So newbie, nice. With that high probability guide to beating the bear market. Again, my name is Don Kaufman, and you are watching a TheoTrade presentation. All right. Risk disclosure, we're not financial advisors nor a broker dealer. I spent a significant amount of my career both in the professional trading world and in the brokerage world. I am out of the brokerage world and loving every minute of it. Next in the docket, so a little bit about what we're going to talk about. I mean, here, the bottom line, what is working in today's market and what has been working, okay, even before the market actually shifted. We're going to discuss ultimate trades, and I'm going to explain exactly what that means. You're going to discover a little bit about ultimate trades. For those of you that have been to previous presentations and you've heard a little bit about ultimate trades, there is one absolutely critical component of ultimate trades that I have never relinquished, okay, in terms of really giving too much insight into. Today, you're going to get it on this webinar today. Over the next approximately 90 minutes, I'm going to dig deeply into areas of Ultima that we've actually never gone before in a presentation to the general public. So you're going to learn a lot about ultimate trades to generate monthly income. We're going to talk extensively about where to find edge, different trading symbols that the professionals use every single day, reap benefits of high probability trades while learning how to mitigate risk, and products that are viable and products that are a recipe for disaster. In fact, when I talk about products, what do you trade? What are you going to trade? And we're going to discuss that extensively. A few housekeeping items. Listen, today, this is a skill set. I'm going to go very, very deeply into this today. And as I said, I'm going to give you quite a bit more than I have actually given in previous presentations. There are so many emails that we receive after presentations like this, and we have a very large group on today for a day where markets have been volatile lately. And when markets are volatile, people get a little bit caught up in the volatility. But I'm telling you, pay attention today. I'm going to go very deeply into the education side of Ultima, as I said, much more than I had in previous sessions. Shut the door, turn off Skype, kick out kids, close Facebook permanently. Okay, kick out the grandkids, definitely. The dog can stay. You took the time to be here, and I'm telling you, I'm going to run at a pretty good clip. Here's a little bit about me. So people constantly ask how I got involved in this business. I actually grew up in and around the trading world. I had a family that traded on the floor in Chicago, and I started trading in the late 90s, 3 weeks out of college. Only about 2 months into my trading career, we hit the long-term capital management, which obviously I'm aging myself here. In 1998 was my first year trading in Chicago. Long-term capital management debacle happened. Shortly thereafter, obviously, we hit the internet boom and bust. I then actually joined a firm, was a startup firm at the time called thinkorswim. Anybody here familiar with thinkorswim? Okay, a couple of people might be familiar with thinkorswim. So I was with thinkorswim for the better part of about 15 years. And I was on the executive team of thinkorswim when we took the company public in 2007. I was also on the executive team when we were acquired by none other than TD Ameritrade. I spent 5 years after the acquisition by TD Ameritrade. I actually went on to run education for TD Ameritrade and their 7 million clients at the time. And what you're going to listen to today specifically comes from the knowledge of what we learned about retail traders. And when I say retail traders, I'm talking about you and me. Anybody that's sitting at home trading for a screen, I'm going to discuss extensively what we learned both at thinkorswim and TD Ameritrade about retail traders. And really, it comes down to what works and what doesn't work, and what works for retail traders. Okay, it's again, I think you're going to get a huge amount out of this. By the way, if you ever need to get a hold of me, after today, just go to support@TheoTrade.com. We use a common inbox, and it's critical, you guys. Again, some of the background over here. And by the way, a lot of people do not know this. The roots of thinkorswim, TD Ameritrade, the original founders eventually left. I left in 2015. The original founders of thinkorswim had left even prior to that, and they launched another firm. And actually, the other firm is exactly what we're going to be discussing. By the way, this is TD Ameritrade TV. I do some spots from time to time. This is actually a CNBC spot. Myself pitted against Kevin O'Leary. Let's get down to business. One of the biggest differentiating factors today. When you guys come to these, free webinars, everybody's like, here it is, they're going to sell another class. Okay. On today's webcast, we sell no classes of any kind. We are here to do one thing: educate you. If you would like to continue your education after today, there is absolutely no cost to you now to join TheoTrade. Instead, we offer open a Tastyworks account now. Tastyworks, okay, is like next generation thinkorswim. And again, it comes from the original founders of thinkorswim. So what we provide to you, and again, for those of you, how many people here are familiar with Tastyworks? Just by, Y for yes, N for no. Okay, Tastyworks, as I said, is next generation thinkorswim trading application. If you're not familiar with it, well, we're going to discuss it in some extent. And I'm going to explain precisely why Tastyworks. Okay. By the way, I am by no means am I anti Charles Schwab or thinkorswim. No. I mean, I don't mind saying I still have multiple accounts over here. By the way, I love to. This is everything I do is no holds barred. Okay. Wear everything right out there for you. You want to see profits and losses on the year? I always show this. I'm up $179,000 in this particular account. This is an IRA account. I'm up $56,000 in the IRA account, which, by the way, doesn't sound like a lot, but the IRA account only has about 90 grand in it. I actually moved most of my IRA accounts over to Tastyworks. So I've got a couple of accounts now at Tastyworks as well. And I'm going to show you a little bit about why Tastyworks. So again, one of the biggest differentiating factors of today's session, okay? We sell nothing. You don't buy any courses here. We provide you 90 days, and I'm telling you right up front, okay? And you decide if you want to do it. You get 90 days of TheoTrade. There's no cost to you. You don't have to give us even a credit card. We don't care. It's totally on the house. Plus, Tastyworks gives you $200, okay, in stock. Like literally, they give you $200. So if you fund an account with $2,000, you get 10%, return. In addition to it, we'll actually give you a small exchange subscription. For those of you that have absolutely no idea what the small exchange happens to be, there is a very new exchange that is out. When I say new exchange, like there's the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, there's the Nasdaq, there's NYSE. There's a new exchange called the Small Exchange. The Small Exchange has a membership. If you are a member of the Small Exchange and you trade products there, okay, it's half off in terms of fees. We pay for the Small Exchange membership. Additionally to it, we're actually going to give you a free ticket to Brandon Chapman's 6-week beginner guide to ultimate trades, meaning that you're actually getting a much more personal touch than just joining TheoTrade. You're literally getting 6 weeks of Brandon Chapman, okay, Q&A, deep involvement. It's $1,000 mentorship, providing all of this just for opening up a Tastyworks account. By the way, we recently here at TheoTrade entered into a partnership with Small Exchange, and that is we went out and bought thousands of Small Exchange memberships because we believe so heavily in what Small Exchange is trying to do. I just wanted to show you the press release. It's rather recent. It's less than a month ago on May 24th. It went public that, by the way, we're based here at TheoTrade now. We were based in Scottsdale, Arizona. We're now based in Christiansted in the U.S. Virgin Islands. It's where I'm broadcasting from. We now provide you in every TheoTrade member, we provide them a subscription to the Small Exchange. And I just throw this out here because, again, each and every one of you, what do you have to do? You have to go to theotrade.com/tastyworks, open and fund a Tastyworks account. As soon as we have confirmation that you have funded, you're in. And the faster you do that, the better. And I'll tell you why. Because Brandon Chapman, he has his mentorship. It begins July 18th. There are very limited spaces to the mentorship simply because there's so much Q&A that transpires during that particular membership, right? By the way, somebody said, what's the commission rate? The commission rate at Tastyworks never ever changes. Here at TheoTrade, we charge $100 a month if and when you want to continue TheoTrade. TheoTrade and Tastyworks are completely different companies. We do this, and you're actually going to see why. We do this deal with Tastyworks because we've come to the point where the style of trade that we're embarking upon, listen, Tastyworks is the place to do it. Bottom line, the people predominantly open Tastyworks accounts anyway, so we figured, why not? Let's do it. Let's jump into this. What are ultimate trades? So I want you guys to know right off the bat, you have access to TheoTrade should you choose to open and fund a Tastyworks account. And you're going to see why Tastyworks throughout the course of this presentation, right? Anyway, let's get started here. Let's get caffeinated. Good stuff. Advertisement for that, huh? Yeah, no. Ultima has a tremendous amount to do with volatility. With the onset of COVID, a lot changed in the marketplace. And when I say a lot changed, yeah, there's higher volatility. And I can show you that all day long. I can show you a chart of the VIX, forget it. Okay, skew is at historical levels, volatility to volatility. Okay, there is an area in this business, okay, that very few people are looking at, and it has to deal, okay, with skew, okay, and then selling options premium. And we're going to discuss that extensively today. Now, some of you that are tuned in today are, maybe not familiar with options. Anybody here not familiar with options? Because we're going to talk a little bit about options today, and I'm going to show you what skew means as we actually get into this. Options. I said the O word, right? Okay. A lot of traders, they get into this business and they learn how to buy options. Okay. We're actually going to talk about the benefits of being an option premium seller. Okay. And you guys are going to learn extensively about selling options. Now, even if you're not going to like trade options, because a lot of people, they immediately go, oh, I'm not ready. Listen, this stuff's easy. It is easy. Like, people make options so much harder than it has to be. In this business, you have a call and you have a put. That is it, people. You have a call and you have a put. How bad can it get? What can you do with a call and a put? You can buy it or you can sell it. Just hang with me here. I want, for those of you that are brand new, learn some of the big concepts, right? Seriously, if you're brand new, like, learn some of the big concepts. And if you're a little bit more like, into options and you have some understanding, grab some of the finite details. Because again, I think you guys, I'm going to blow your minds today. And there's a few things, as I said, I'm going to give you details that I've never provided before in any of the free webcasts. You want to know one of the details right off the bat? How about I can teach you in here in just a few moments how to circumnavigate the day trading margin restriction. Does that sound reasonable to you? Anybody? Woo! Anybody? You want to learn to circumnavigate the day trading margin restrictions? Come on. I was on a Reddit board like a month ago, and it came up. People were like, "Oh, the day trading margin restriction." And I was like, "Really?" Listen, I spent 15 years in the brokerage world. There's no, if and or but about it. I'm also going to show you how you can sell options in an extraordinarily small account. I don't care whether you have $2,000. It's enough. You can do anything you want in a $2,000 account. And I'm going to show you just that today. And again, this is the kind of stuff that we just hadn't ever discussed in any of these webcasts. I've always made that kind of ambiguous, if you will, and that's why people signed up for TheoTrade. But cards are on the table over here. Like, listen, if you want to be in this business, and I just want to stress this to you, okay, and hear me out. If you want to be in this business, what's this business? If you want to trade, okay, if you want to invest, you have got to learn the skill set that I'm talking about. Even if you don't utilize the skill set that I'm talking about, you have to have a degree of understanding of what's going on right now. Other than the fact that it's a bear market, ooh, scary. Okay. If you're going to survive this, whether you're long stock or short stock, you're going to have to do something against that. And that something is you're going to have to learn to sell some premium. Even again, this can be done against stock, meaning I own Microsoft. It's not like a covered call. It's vastly different than that. But bear with me as I actually dig into this. We're going to learn to sell options. Many, many people have heard through the grapevine that selling options is a great way to make money. How many people have heard that? Yeah, selling options is a great way to make money. But then you try it and you find out real quick, or somebody that did try it and they go, oh, it was great until it didn't work. Okay. Today's session, I do myth from real risk, fact from fiction in selling options. Like this is no holds barred. Again, we in this webcast here, we have nothing to lose. Okay. All we're trying to do here is get more people engaged in understanding what ultimate is. Okay. And doing this the correct way. That's it. That's our only reasoning for doing this today, is to kind of inform the masses. Like, listen, we don't sell anything here today. That's it. We have dramatically changed the way that we operate here at TheoTrade to display to people like, hey, if you're going to be involved in this marketplace, now that it's officially the bear, okay, this volatility, this isn't going away anytime soon. And you will have to learn a skill set, okay, to move forward. This is not going to be buy and pray. This is not going to be, I got lucky and bought some crypto, okay? There are phenomenal ways to make money at the present time, but you do have to be open-minded to learning something. There's not even the barrier anymore of cost of learning. You want to spend the next 3 months in our TheoTrade archives, go for it, okay? I mean, we have tens of thousands of hours of archives. I mean, you think Netflix is like crazy how many videos they have. Wait till you see what we've done here at TheoTrade. Listen, when we start talking about options, don't panic. As I said, we're going to talk extensively today about how you can sell options premium in extremely small accounts. But again, if you're brand new and you've never traded really an option before, just hang into there for the big concepts. Let's dive right in. There's a lot of different ways that people talk about selling a premium, right? There's selling premium. By the way, these are all terms for the same thing: selling premium, credit spreads, short call spreads, iron condors, delta neutral trading, mambo combos, selling naked. Oh, I like that term. Okay. I'm naked and I'm loving every minute of it. Okay. Selling premium, it can be both bullish or bearish, but here's one fun thing. You're not going to see a lot of charts in today's session. Okay? And by the way, today's session, this is, there's a lot of Q&A going on over here. I'm reading the chat over here. So by all means, okay, I am reading everything in real time. So we've actually got Brandon in here, we've got Brian in here, we've got Jeff in here. So we have a full crew to actually help and answer questions. But at the same time, I'm also reading some of the Q&A. But all of these are terms for selling premium. Most of the stuff could be bullish or bearish, but generally when you're selling premium, you're kind of considered market neutral, right? And by the way, we'll talk about margin accounts because the answer is no. You can use an IRA for this. You want to use an IRA, then use an IRA. I do. Okay. By the way, how our members are doing year to date. I did this last week. I asked a question last week. Thanks to the training, I'm up 23% in one count, 18% in another. That's this year. Okay. That just happened last week. Mark up 190% for the year. Carla, okay, up 30%. Okay. I don't mind reading this. Timothy said, down 1K since I joined TheoTrade, but it would have been down a lot more if I didn't join. Hopefully, I'll learn more and enough to actually make money. Okay, this is up almost 50%. Captain Vicky up 35%. Duke up 10%. Okay, way ahead this year. All right, let's get down to business. Your trades are based on probability. One thing that I want to reiterate, we're going to talk quite a bit about probability and profitability today. And again, I'm going to be a little bit fast and loose with this because when markets are open, and by the way, I like to host this when the market's open. I'm done. Like people do night seminars, Sunday seminars, forget all that garbage. Do it while the market's open. I know it's not everybody can join us live and somebody's watching this recorded, but even if you're watching this recorded, like seriously, it's better. It's more dynamic when the markets are open. So I can use, well, the marketplace. Okay. What is it? Up 90. But we're going to talk extensively about trade and live trade. And I'm going to use some, well, real examples in here. Okay, when I say real examples, like, hey, we're going to come in here and we're going to look at some option chains. We're going to get you guys comfortable, right? One thing I want to reiterate, all the time people come in here and they go, oh, I want to do a trade that has a 90% probability. That's fine. But don't equate high probability with always making money because high probability, okay, doesn't always make you money. Probability alone does not make you profitable. People always ask that question. They say, well, okay, how often are you right? I go, I don't know. I could be right 95% of the time, but just because I'm right 95% of the time doesn't always make me money. Markets are always a trade-off, always a series of trade-off. Higher probability equates to higher risk. You could be right 90% of the time. You can still lose money. But what we're here for and what you're here for is to find edge. Okay. And if you've never heard the term edge, something definitive, something that can be repeatable, right? There's actually probably a few people that are tuned in today and they're like, man, this is the same thing that Don, I'm Don. This is the same thing Don and TheoTrade, they've been talking about this ultimate thing for the last year and a half. You're exactly right. You want to know why? Because it's what works, right? It's what works and it's what has worked, okay? Listen, we're about to show some very important aspects over here. I am going to throw you in the deep end of the pool right now. Discovering probability and premium selling tactics. Okay, so let's just cut bait and go for it. In this very first example, I'm going to give you a fictitious example, and then we're going to actually jump into the real live marketplace. Okay, for the first example, like don't even worry about margin. Okay, first thing I want to talk about. This is a stock, and it's a $100 stock. Okay, do I buy it? The answer is no. Why don't I buy the stock? I don't know. Why would I buy the stock? Why would I want to buy the stock? It's a $100 stock. Like, the market today, it's up big. It's up 3%. And tomorrow it could be down 7%. Why would I tie up that kind of capital? And some people are thinking, well, I have the money, but why tie up the capital? Forget about the capital. Why have that risk? Okay. On a per share basis, we're getting pretty consistent 3, 4, even 5% moves. That's big boy stuff. It's big boy stuff. The stock could be trading 95 up to 105. Like it's just been, Mr. Toad's wild ride. We're not going to own the stock. Okay. In this very first example, I'm going to explain just some of the basics of options, just the basics of options here. Okay. And for those of you that understand options, good. And if you don't understand options, you're about to. Okay. We're going to go out there, okay, in this first example, and we're going to sell a 120 call. And the 120 call, and some people go, I don't even know what a 120 call is. That's okay. Hang with me. The 120 call is going to be trading for exactly a $1 credit. I'm going to write it down here. We're going to sell a 120 call, and we're going to collect exactly a $1 credit. And we're going to make this all the way out 3 months. 3 months. You go, I don't like it. Just bear with me for a second. Just bear with me for 1 second. So for those of you that have never, ever, ever traded an option, okay, and this is all just, foreign language to you, let's get you guys up to speed. It'll only take us 3 to 4 minutes, and then everybody will be on the same page. And then we're going to get into what I call like the nuances, the criteria. What's criteria? Criteria is the specifics. It's the nuts and bolts. It's like what to actually do in the heat of battle. It's one thing to, talk is cheap in this business. One thing I always explain to people about trading, and I'm deadly serious about this, okay? Trading is, and listen, because this is imperative to your future. Trading is as much as a sport as it is a financial product. You go, what does that mean? Okay. If you read a book, people always ask me all the time, give me a good book to read about trading. Sure. I don't really read too many books about trading, but sure, I can give you a couple of good books. Go read a good book about golf, then go to the driving range. How are you? Okay. I read everything about Tiger Woods' swing. Okay. Turns out I still suck. Trading's the exact same thing. I read everything I could about it. Your education is an execution. What's execution? It's trading. You got to learn by actually executing. It's a critical portion of this business. This is why I do this during market hours, because you're going to learn a little trial by fire. Okay. So keep that in mind, and please bear with me as we go. We're going to go out and we're going to talk about the basics of options. First of all, don't worry about margin just yet, because I got a special slide just for margin. Here's a stock's trading at 100. Do you own the stock? No. Do you want to own the stock? No. Why don't you want to own the stock? Because it ties up a lot of capital. It's a lot of risk. I'm going to go out and I'm going to talk about the 120 call. Now, I said I sold the 120 call. So people go, listen, let's talk about what a 120 call is. Before we actually talk about buying it or selling it, let's just talk about a 120 call. For those of you that have never traded an option, you got this 120 call. And a 120 call gives you the right to, well, if you were to buy it, buy the stock at 120. Let's actually talk about buying it. By the way, this means buy. This means sell. Palms to me, I'm a buyer. Palms to you, I'm a seller. I'm going to go out and I'm actually going to buy the 120 call. The 120 call gives me the right, not the obligation, but I have the right to buy the stock at 120. Now, why would I go out and buy a 120 call? Anybody? By the way, it's a little hot in here, so we're going to make it just a tad cooler. Why would I buy the 120 call? Maybe because I think the stock's going up. It's going to soar, right? So I go out there and I can just buy a 120 call. Now, if I buy a 120 call, it must mean I think the stock's going to go to like, I don't know, 130. Let's get crazy. It goes from 100 all the way up to 130. Like, you're brilliant because you bought a 120 call. Now, you don't own the stock. You just own a 120 call, and a 120 call gives you the right to buy the stock at 120. Now, if you can buy the stock at 120, can you buy the stock at 120? Yes, that's what it means. When you have the right to buy the stock at 120, you could buy the stock at 120. And if you could buy the stock at 120 and then sell it at 130, you'd make at least $10, minus, of course, the dollar you paid for it. But that's options. You go, so I have the right to buy the stock at 20, but do I have to buy the stock at 20? No, people just buy a call to turn around and sell the call. Well, what's a 120 call worth minimum with the stock trading at 130? Well, if you have the right to buy the stock at 120, everybody else has to pay 130. The minimum that thing is going to be worth is about $10. Does that make sense? It's called intrinsic value. Stop right there. What are the chances of the stock going from 100? Okay, 100 all the way up here to 130. Did you think about that? What's the chances? Okay, what are the odds? What are the odds? 1 in a million, Jerry. Anyway, talking about Fusilli Jerry. If you don't know that episode, seriously, you need to go back. You need to watch that one. Okay, 1 in a million, like the probability going from 100 to 130. Okay, I mean, I don't know what stock this is, but that seems kind of crazy, doesn't it? Okay, it does. It seems a little bit like crazy. So anyway, let's say the stock goes up and up big. It would be a very, very rare thing. But bear with me for a second. So a 120 call gives you the right to buy the stock at 120, but we don't own any stock. But instead of buying the 120 call, we're going to go out and we're going to sell it. You go, wall. How do you sell something you never owned? In options, you could be both a buyer or a seller right off the bat. Buyers have rights, sellers have obligations. So if I sell the 120 call, I'm selling myself into a what? Obligation. How do you sell yourself into an obligation? I'll tell you exactly. If you sell a 120 call, you're now obligated to give somebody your stock at 120. You go, but I don't own any stock, but I don't want to be a pirate. All right, I'm in the Seinfeld zone today. So if you sell a 120 call, where do you want the stock to go? Think about this. If you sell a 120 call, where do you want the stock to go? Come on. This is an interactive session, people. Okay? Interactive session. We need people, okay, talking. All right. So think about that. Anybody? Anybody? All right. I like it. A lot of people said down, down. I like actually, Judy hit it right on. She said anything less than 120. Okay. Not the 120. That's the right answer. Not to 120. So anything, okay, down here, anything like here. So think of it. If we sell a 120 call, you don't sit there and just go down, go down, go down. Most of the time you're like, it's probably not going to happen because, I mean, you think about this realistically, that is a 20% increase. If the stock stays flat, you keep your dollar. If the stock goes down, you keep your dollar. If the stock goes up, you keep your dollar. If your stock goes to 120, you might wet yourself, but you're still going to keep your dollar. The only way you're losing is above 120. I mean, this is like, it's like sitting in the nosebleed seats. You're way out there. Like there's not a huge amount to worry about. Okay. But anything below 120, you get to keep your dollar. And you go, well, what if it does go to 130? That's the right question. That's how you have to mitigate risk. That's the control of risk. That actually, in very large part, is what Ultima deals with, is that risk mitigation. Okay. Now, a lot of people also look at this, they go, that's it? Seriously? I'm coming here and I'm going to listen to you and all I can make is $1? Well, no, not exactly, because $1 on one contract, that's $100. But if you did 10 contracts, $1,000. But you could actually do this again and again and again and again. And like, don't worry about the dollar credit. Like you can get more money. Okay. So don't worry about that dollar credit. That's just, happenstance in there. Like you can make that whatever you want, depending upon how big or how small you are willing to trade and how much capital you have in your account. But a lot of people don't like, though, is the fact that you're like, you're going to wait 3 months to make $1? No. Why am I doing it 3 months out? That is what Ultima is about. That's what Ultima is about. But I just want you to understand, like, wow, look how far that stock has to rally just for you to take the slightest hit. Are we okay so far? Are we okay so far? All right. So let's start to take this into the real marketplace. All right. One of the first questions is that people ask, because they go, maybe you noticed in my example, I sold options a few months out in duration. Typically, traders do what? They sell shorter dated options. Okay. They do. They sell shorter dated options. And I go, well, okay, that's, I guess, okay, but why so far out in time? It's actually why you're tuned in here. What we want to create in trade, okay? What we want to create is low risk for you, high potential return, and again, without taking critical amounts of risk. Selling short dated options, it's madness today. Madness. You don't sell short dated options in a volatile marketplace. What we do here at TheoTrade is about criteria. That's what we do, what criteria means, okay? On the trade that I showed a moment ago, it's like the secret sauce in here. And what's the secret sauce? The secret sauce, okay, is us going out. How do we know to use the 120 call? How far out in time? Like 3 months, okay? What products do you do this in? Because I know everybody's thinking about margin. What about margin? Let's go into the real market. When I say the real market, let's line them up in the marketplace. Today, I'm actually initially going to go into the spiders. Now, the S&Ps are up 91 points, 2.5% up move, okay? It's a big boy up move today. I like it. We're going to go out and we're going to look at the idea of selling an option. Which option to sell? Which option to sell? Let's get crazy. Let's go all the way out here, 87 days out. Now, is that as close to 3 months as I can get? Yes. Okay, so I'm going to go out 87 days. And if you've never seen a platform, listen, an option chain is an option chain is an option chain. And all I'm going to do is try to find an option that's trading right around $1 because I want to make my example as plausible as possible. Plausible as possible. Anyway, let's come in here. Let's take a quick glance at this. I'm going to go out and I'm just going to label it up here. Just give me a second. Let's make sure we're good. We're going to go out and we're going to sell in this case. Yeah, this is trading right around $1. That works. We're going to sell a 440 call. And let's say we collect exactly $1. Okay, now just bear with me for a second. This is for the month of Sep. It's a September option. We're going to sell it for $1. That's it. That's the end of it. We sell it for $1. What people think to themselves is they go, is this guy crazy? I got to wait 87 days to make $1? No, nobody said anything about that. You're not going to wait 87 days. How about this? How about I close up September and I say, let's fast forward. Okay. When I'm talking about September, by the way, I'm talking about these 87-day options. Let's just fast forward about a month. Let's see, is there options decay in options that are far out in time? What I mean by that is, what's the 87-day option going to be worth when there's only 59 days left? Like, is there enough decay to make this worthwhile? What do you guys think? Anybody? Is there enough decay in options that are further out in time? Stop looking, cheaters. Okay. How many? What do you guys think? Yep. Many of you have been here before, I can tell. What are you back for? You're like, I'm just waiting for the special. I'm going to open up the August. Why am I opening up August? If you want to know what an 87-day option is worth, just to point out, here's an 87-day option. Okay, it's September option. If you want to know what it's worth exactly about 30 days from now, just go look at the 30-day option. Forget about movement of the market. The market's going to move up, the market's going to move down, but all things being held equal, is there a good amount of decay, all right, in there? And the answer is, okay, how can we figure that one out, right? And again, this is probably the most important thing. And again, this was a September option. I'm deleting stuff over there. Let's go ahead. Let's actually open up the August 440s. Okay, and my little mouse is going to be right on it, the August 440s, because this was a 440 call. We're going to look right at the 440 call for August. We're going to say, is there a decent amount of decay? And the answer is, well, would you look at that? All right, by the way, this really could have been sold for $1.05. Here, it's trading for 49 cents. So exactly, well, it's less than a month from now because we went from 87 days to 59 days. We could turn around and we could buy this 440 call back, assuming all factors being held equal, or let's call it 50 cents. What would you make? 50%. So you can make 50%. You can make 50% on an option you sell in less than 30 days. And that thing is so far out of the money, you can barely even see it. What's the catch? What's the catch? Catch is, well, the margin's pretty extensive, but I'm going to fix that in a second. What's the other catch? Well, what if the market explodes higher? What if the S&Ps go to 500? Yeah, we can work on that too. It's called risk reduction, risk mitigation. This is the stuff I'm telling you right now. You need to learn this. Okay, does this make sense? This is where people get lost. They go, how do you figure out that a SEP option is going to be worth? All I'm showing you, it's the same option. The 440 call is still a 440 call a month from now. What I'm trying to display to you is that the decay in options further out in time has shifted. When I say it's shifted, by the way, like, hey, look, you see that little dot over there? That indicates I have positions on. You want to know why I have positions on? Because I trade, right? I'm short a 10 lot right here at the 300 strike out in SEP. Right? I wouldn't do that if it, well, wasn't effective. So again, and you know, talk is cheap. So you look at somebody's positions and you'll understand real quick, okay? What you want to understand in this particular context is there's a phenomenal return that can be achieved all the way out here in September. And the thing is, the market right now is trading 375. I'm at the 440 level. Like it's like nosebleed seats. And do you have to use spiders? No. Could you use the QQQ? What's the QQQ? It's the Nasdaq. Could I do the same kind of thing in the Nasdaq? Of course you could. Open up the SEP again. By the way, I'm using calls because calls are kind of easier for people like mentally to get through. Let me just find a call here. Here's the 346s. Let me just mark this up. Look, there's the 346s. See them trading at about $1. What's that 346 going to be trading for? It's trading for about $1 now. What's it going to be trading for a month from now? Open up the August, okay, and go right to the 346. Just want to make a quick point. And there it is. It's trading for 50 cents. Yes, it works in the QQQs as well. Would it work in any product? Yeah. Like, listen, decay has shifted. What Ultima is really about, it's not just time decay. It has to deal with like a shift in volatility and a shift in skew. Ultima, okay? When people talk about volatility in markets, there's volatility, okay? There's what we term Vega and Vama, okay? And then there's Ultima. It's a derivative of a derivative of a derivative. And one of the things that changed in a post-COVID world, okay, is that the implied volatility, the skew shifted, it twisted, and there's great amounts of decay back here, right? So somebody said, you know, IWM. Yeah, man, listen, I love the Russell. Okay, I am totally down with that. You know, in the IWM, let's get crazy. Let's get out there and let's, you know, you can look at it in the IWM too. Again, I'm just trying to find an option like about $1, but it doesn't always like here's one for 60 cents, the 206 strike, and then you can jump over here again to the 206 strike. There is no there it is. Okay, look at that. I sell it for 60 cents, only worth 30 cents. It's the same thing in every one of these, okay? But we're gonna go deeper than that. Are we okay? So I want you to think about this in context. You can make 50%, okay, return on an option you sold in less than 30 days. But everybody goes, but what happens if the market does this? Or what happens if the market, I'm gonna get there, okay? I don't wanna put the cart before the horse. All right, so I'm sure that there's questions at this point. And one of the biggest questions is, again, all I'm really doing is taking in context, putting it in the live market. All right, I'm just taking what I sold out here, okay? I sell a call out here. Don't worry, I'm also gonna sell a put out here. And then everybody goes, what about risk? Okay, well, I'm gonna cover risk. It's not about what you do with winners. Winners are easy. This is really high probability stuff. We're going to talk about risk in a moment. But before we get to risk, what's the other big hang up? Okay. Again, selling options so far out in time, I'll explain that. Okay. I explained the further you go out in time, the less risk is implied to you. Like there's actually, for those of you that are total geeks, you want to hear something total geek? Okay. The shorter the option time frame, here, let's actually go back to an option chain. The shorter the option time frame, the more what we term gamma risk comes into play. And some people have heard of like a gamma squeeze. It's kind of like an in term right now, but the more gamma risk. As an option premium seller, you want to stay as far away as possible from gamma risk. And people hear all the time, well, market makers do it. Yes, they do. Okay. I have worked with market making firms, okay, for the better part of my entire career. But market making firms have what they call high frequency trading algorithms. Okay, that's what HFT is about, high frequency trading. It's all about the ability to hedge the gamma risk. They have Mr. Algo that trades for them. Mr. Algo don't gotta eat. It stays up at night and watches markets for you, right? It's got eyes on it. You don't have that. What you need to do on the retail side of trade, doesn't matter what the market makers do, the retail traders need to go out further in time. They need to go, okay, where it's mellow. This, okay, is like paddling out into big wave surfing in Hawaii, okay? You're like a geek from Chicago that just shows up in Hawaii. You're like, I'm gonna surf the big waves, the pipeline, okay? That doesn't end well. It doesn't end well at all. It ends up with you, okay? Maybe if you're lucky, ending up on the beach, hurt. Out here, softer, gentler, okay? This is like the little ripples. You barely feel the waves out there. And I cannot stress enough. You have got to understand this to survive. Now, what everybody gets all huffy about right now, why so far out in time, we explain that. That's where the softer, gentler waves happen to be. And that's what criteria does. But I know, what about margin? I love this, okay? I love this. Margin call. how can you do this with your trading account? How can you do this with your trading account? Anybody? Anybody? How can you do this? Because everybody gets like all tired. This is the part, as I said, I'm going to display things today that I never talked about before. I need more caffeine to do that. It's probably a very bad idea for you. Anyway, that's it. I'm getting up too. So one of the sit-stand desks, the camera is moving. Yes, because I raised the desk. So let's talk about margin for a second. Anybody? First of all, can you do this in an IRA? Yes, you can, right? You can do this in an IRA. Can you do whatever you want in an IRA? Yes, you can. What do you mean? Okay. All right. First and foremost, how many people here would like to learn how to circumnavigate? By the way, isn't that a softer, gentler term for work the way around day trade margin rules? Anybody want to learn the way around a day trading margin rule? Okay, here it is, the day trading margin rule. If you deal with day trading margin rules, you're not alone. First of all, the day trading margin rule is $25,000 minimum. Okay, there's no if, and, or, but about it. If you want to trade stock, okay, and you want to trade standardized options, any product, okay, and by the way, I'm going to give you the exact designation over here, and just understand, I have held pretty much every license in the brokerage world imaginable. I've been a Series 3, which is actually in futures, Series 4, which is actually an options principal. I've had my Series 7, which is a broker dealer, my Series 24, which is a principal broker dealer, and my Series 24, I had 768 Series 7s under me, which is actually like huge number of people. And I've also had my Series 66, which is a 63 and a 65 combined. I was a registered investment advisor, okay, with approximately $400 million under management. Any product that is SEC, okay, and FINRA related falls under the designation of 25K, which is the day trading margin rule. Many people do not know this. The day trading margin rule came into place, okay, after the crash of the internet stocks, okay? I mean, I'll get really specific and unfortunately very graphic. There was an assault on a Charles Schwab office in Georgia. And after that and following that, it was the direct result was the day trading margin restriction. It was a day trader that actually attacked, I think, and shot 4 individuals in a Charles Schwab office just outside the Atlanta area. You can look that one up, unfortunately. I was in the business at the time. SEC and FINRA slapped a rule. If you actually do multiple trades in and out, doesn't matter what product, they're going to slap the day trading margin restriction on you. Okay. In this business, there's always a way around. Okay. A lot of people like the product called the Spiders. The Spiders is probably one of the most marquee products in the entire industry. How about if they had a product that was basically the exact same thing as the Spiders? They do. It's called the /MES. The MES is actually a micro S&P option on futures contract. And you go, whoa. What do you mean? Okay. This /MES or /ES. Okay. This is a futures contract. What are they? They're versions of the Spider. If you actually trade one contract of this monkey, okay, watch this. Just make sure we're all clear on here. One contract here, one contract here. One contract of the ES equals 500 shares of SPY. One contract of MES, which is a micro, equals 50 shares of SPY. You go, what's the difference? There is no difference. For those of you that want to day trade, who cares? You just trade the micro S&P. By the way, they also have options. Some people go, oh, the options are not that liquid. Some of the options are basically brand new, but the options, the liquidity is really starting to pick up in this product. And I'm laughing about it because people don't get, there's no day trading margin rule in here. You can trade as many as you want, but it gets better. As we talked about earlier, we here at TheoTrade, we give you access, sorry about that. We give you access, okay, to what's termed small exchange. And you go, well, what is small exchange? Small exchange is a whole new subset, okay, of products, okay? They're small exchange. What can you do in small exchange? Ooh, there's a bunch of different products, including like Sticks. Sticks is the like Nasdaq. You can buy it and sell it as many times as you want. This, okay, they have no day trading margin restriction. And there are, okay, in fact, options listed on it. But for those of you that go, well, I want to trade a little bit bigger than small, they have the ES options on futures. Were you aware the ES options on futures have daily expiration? Okay, this is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There's daily expirations. These contracts, they look like intimidating. They're not. The bid offer spreads are phenomenally tight. You can have as little as $2,000 in your account, and you can do this. Time out. How does that relate? That's how you get around the day trading margin. You go, but I can't trade Tesla. Nobody said you could, but I can tell you right now, if you start to look into small exchange products, ooh, they're getting good. They're getting good because they are just now, by the way, the small exchanges was brand new. They are in their infancy, okay, in releasing new products. And these products, when I say products, I mean they're actual, new products that no one has seen before. These things you can trade the US dollar. You're going to start to be able to trade crypto futures contracts, no margin, okay, like anything like you would see over at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. And it's becoming like utopia. The place to do this is through Tastyworks. Now, how does this relate? Let me go back for a second and say, how does this relate to what we're talking about today? Okay, you really want to learn how to do this without having to worry about margin. Okay, we're going to go into, for example, /MES. The MES is a micro S&P. What I want you to think about when looking at a micro S&P, it's the same thing as the spiders. Just think about trading the spiders. You go, oh, that makes it easier. So go out to the September contract, okay? And I can go out there and find a call option, right? And here's the same call option we were talking about earlier. We were talking about the 440s. Well, it's a little bit different inside the MES. Instead of it being a $440 product, let me make sure that everybody sees this, okay? Instead of this being a $440 product, it's going to be a $4,440, right? This is 10 times the size, but the contract itself is tiny, right? It's awesome, okay? It's just, I mean, again, you're talking about like utopia for traders. So I can go out here, all right, and trade these things, and it's just negligible amounts of margin. Even with a $2,000 account, you are just gold in getting this done. In fact, here's like the mid price on this. When I hit review and send, what I want you to see, okay, is how minute the trade happens to be. Let me actually make sure I'm in the right account. I'm actually going to move into my IRA. In my IRA, this wouldn't even tie up $1,000 of margin. Can you sell an option naked inside of any brokerage account? This is an IRA. That's a retirement account. It says right over there, see where it says SEP? That is my SEP account. Okay, in this particular account, look, no holds barred. You can see it's 100 grand in there. That ties up double the margin. If I am in a regular, okay, margin account, it ties up half that amount. So you can go out there and you can sell options naked. Do you have to have any requirements, any restrictions? Yeah, here's the restriction. You have to have $2,000 in a margin account. You have to have $5,000 in an IRA account. Done. Margin, it's not an issue. The Tastyworks lets you do what you want, how you want, when you want. It's why we're doing this, okay? It's exactly why we're doing this. And you got to learn, like, and people go, well, those micro contracts are a little bit small. You're right. Maybe they are too small for you. And when you're ready, you step up into an S&P options on futures contract. Don't let the future side of this thing scare you. What's the difference? It's the same thing. Like I always stress this to people, and they have a tough time with like understanding of the futures contracts. They're the same thing. Look, here's those 440s I was just talking about. See that 440 right here? This one ES, okay, this is important. One, okay, ES contract is the same thing as trading 5 SPY contracts, okay? Or it's trading like a half, well, it's trading a half of SPX, like half the size of the SPX. And you look at this and you go, well, how much margin? Let me tell you something. This holds up a little bit more margin. This is a big contract, okay? This will only tie up $11,000. You're like, I mean, knocking the cover off the ball. It only ties up $11,000. There you go. But that's in an IRA. That would only tie up, okay, $5,500 in a regular margin account. You got to know what you're doing in this business. And there's no day trading margin rule. Okay. Out the window, small products, ES options and futures. Okay. It is phenomenal. Like, again, you're like in utopia over here. So, what about margin? There is no margin. I mean, it's just nominal. Okay. Now you got to understand there's this 90% probability and there's this 10% hammer. I don't want you guys to get into this notion that we're just going to sell calls and sell calls and sell puts and sell puts and it's all going to go all right. But a lot of people have experienced you make money, you make money, you make money, you make money. Those of you that have sold options know this. You make money, make money, make money, make money. All of a sudden, big loss. The train hits you. I wasn't even looking for it. And people charge, like $500 to some class like an Iron Condor to learn how to do this. And it doesn't, like Iron Condors, that crap doesn't work in this market. It can't work. There's no edge in like the Iron Condor now. It's gone, right? You got to basically work around. You got to use Ultima over here, right? By the way, yeah, you can use ZS and they just started using limits in there too. That's good. So I stress to you, selling premium and having this 90% probability is wonderful, but 10% of the time the hammer hits you. And people that have sold premium, they're like, holy crap, I get it, man. It's like this guy can see my account. I could. Like I've watched all this transpire. And then people always turn around and they go, oh, I can fix a losing trade. Fix is a really dirty word. Don't worry about ever fixing a trade. Okay, you got to learn to structure this stuff correctly. Like I'm a big cynic when it comes to fixing. I listened to this course one time and this guy's like, we don't call it fixing, we call it morphing. And I'm like, oh, it's an amalgamation. They're like, what? It was killing me because I always think of this analogy. When something goes wrong, okay, people always try to fix it. It's the same thing as taking a car, drive it off a cliff and bring it to a body shop. What are they going to say at the body shop when you take the car, you drive it off the cliff? Hopefully you're not in it, okay? And you bring it to the body shop, they go, it's totaled. I'm probably going to say the same thing about your trade. Listen, you need to learn how to do this correctly. What's correctly? You got to learn to sell options correctly, okay? Here, this is what I kind of term like the full Monty. This is what we really do at TheoTrade. What we really do at TheoTrade is we teach you how to construct, okay, an options premium selling portfolio. So let's go to the spiders right now and the SPY. The SPY is trading at, what was it? 375. So the spiders are trading 375. I'm going to go out, okay, and I'm going to sell a call. What call? I don't know. I'm selling some stuff out here, but I'm not just going to sell. Let me back up for a second. I'm not just going to sell like one call. Okay. A moment ago, I was talking about selling, sell the 440 call, but I'll probably also, if we continue to rally for the next few days, maybe I'll sell like a 460 call. Before you know it, maybe I'm selling like, I don't know, a 480 call, then simultaneously. That means at the same time, I'm probably selling like a 270 put. By the way, the puts you collect double on. Okay, you might sell these calls for $1, $1, $1. The puts you like collecting $2. Then the market sells back off, and I'm probably selling like a, I don't know, a 250 put. Before you know it, you're selling a 240 put. You're like, yeehaw! What I'm trying to show you, and I know it's sloppy over there because I just want you guys to get the understanding. We're trying to teach you the inventory management side of this business. Trading is not about ever like one trade. I put a trade on, I take a trade off. I put a trade on, I take a trade off. That works. But if you really want to survive in this business and you want to trade in volatility, you got to distribute into a couple of trades. This is an inventory, again, an inventory management kind of business. Inventory basically means put a trade on, take it off. I want you to think of like a cart of apples. Okay, not Apple, the stock, but a cart of apples. Okay. And if you are a wholesaler of apples, what do you want to do with those apples? You want to churn through as much inventory of those apples as you possibly can. Are some apples going to get rotten? Of course they are. They're going to have some bad apples. It's a great analogy. Anyway, you're going to have a couple of bad apples, but you're just like trying to, go through the apples as fast as you can. You want to make 50% on those apples. That's a big edge on them apples. But you want to rip through as many apples as you possibly can. But you know as well as I do, you can't just go out and sell apples naked. Because what happens if the cost of apples skyrockets? All of a sudden you have these apples, okay, and you're working them through in your inventory. Okay. And your cost, you're selling apples short. You don't even have the apples in stock yet. And the cost of apples goes up. Like, listen, here's the bottom line. You go out here and you put this trade on. Okay. And everything is just hunky dory. Yeah, about 90% of the time it is. Okay, what happens the other 10% of the time? You tell me, right? The market could explode higher, but the real risk, I'm going to tell you what the real risk is. The real risk is one day you're going to wake up, okay, and your apples are going to get destroyed because the market's going to go boom right down here. All of a sudden, crash and burn. And by the time you wake up and you realize it, I mean, like at night, right? By the time you wake up and realize it, that thing is on top of you, and you're like, oh, I'm dead, man. What you have to learn in this business, this is what selling options premium is really about. When I say what it's really about, okay, the SPY is at 375. We need to learn, okay, the hedges. Enter the hedges. There are three, there are three primary hedges we use. The first one up here, okay, risk, twist, spread. The next one over here, VIX, vol, spread. The last is the gamma iron, okay? What are these? Enter the hedges. If you want to survive in a premium selling environment, okay, you have got to use some type of risk mitigation tactic. Without it, you will go up in flames. Everybody on the professional side of trade uses risk mitigation. Most people think, my risk mitigation is I'll just get out before the market moves. You do realize that that's sheer insanity when you think about it. I'll just get out of the way of the oncoming, bus. Unless, of course, you don't see it because, people do sleep at some point. I'll set alerts, okay? Yeah, and an event happens and the S&P's gap down 100. There's nothing you can do, okay, other than hedges. When the hedges have to be on, they're always on. Think of a hedge as you live next to an angry volcano and you must feed the volcano a lamb, okay? This is your sacrificial lamb. I'll explain a hedge like this. You and I both know that the marketplace can move like that. I mean, snap on top of you immediately. We haven't seen much of that though in this bear market. This has just been sell, sell, sell. We haven't seen though like the onslaught where you wake up and you're like, incoming. It's hideous when it happens. But the point of me explaining this, okay, I want you to think about the VIX. How many people here know the VIX? You guys know the VIX, right? When the market goes down, the VIX goes where? Up. So what if I actually used a trade, okay, and we're going to call that trade a VIX vol spread. And what the VIX vol spread is doing, it's a very, very minute trade, okay, on the VIX. But if the market comes tearing down, the VIX, right, when the market goes down, the VIX goes up, okay? So what would happen over here? This little VIX trade would explode in value, right? And cover risk that you had out here. So let's explain it in a bit more context, okay? So now we're going to come in here and explain it in kind of the full, context of it. I am going to go out and I'm going to sell 440 call. I'm also going to sell, okay, 460 call, and eventually I'll be selling 480 calls, okay? Simultaneously, I'm going to be selling, for instance, like a 280 put, okay? And I'm going to be selling, for instance, a 260 put, and before I know it, be selling a 240 put, and that's my inventory. Those are my apples in the apple cart. I leave myself exposed if I just actually sell naked here and sell naked here. So consequently, I use a hedge. Okay, the hedge is a very minute cost in here. And right here is where I'm going to lay the hedge. And this is exactly what we teach here at TheoTrade. Okay, here's my VIX vol spread. And that VIX vol spread is laid very nicely in here. By chance, if the market comes ripping down, the VIX vol spread puffs up in price just enough to actually do what? To cover some, not all, but some of the risk in here. okay? So I come in here and the market comes ripping down. This spread ignites in terms of price, puffs up, and actually provides me like an umbrella for me to be able to actually exit some of the corresponding inventory. On the upside, we actually use a trade, okay, called a gamma iron. The risk graph looks something like this, to where if the market explodes higher, it has to pass through a profitable trade before it can cause a loss on those calls. This is what selling options premium is really about, okay? It's a much softer, gentler world. And people look at this, they go, that looks a little complex. You can do this with negligible amounts of capital in your account. I mean, really, $2,000 in your account, you can actually work similar inventory in the micro S&Ps. If you want to work with $20,000, $30,000, that's fine. But I think it's imperative that we play at this point to the smallest common denominator, that you realize, listen, okay, and people say, well, can I do this with $1 million? Yeah, I do. Okay. I have, one account over in thinkorswim still. Okay. And it's about 400 grand. And the other account at Tastyworks, I've got a couple of accounts at Tastyworks, another about $450,000 net at Tasty, and just under $1 million between both accounts. And I work in premium selling. And again, as I call this is a no holds barred approach. A lot of the premium selling has originally transpired here. By the way, this is an IRA, which is up 56 grand, but it's only, like a $90,000 IRA. Here's one of the portfolio margin accounts. I'm switching accounts on you right now. There's one of the other accounts up $177,000 this year. Okay. Primary strategy, core logic, it's right there. Selling options premium. Okay. But I'm going to tell you right now, this is the place to do it. Forget thinkorswim, it's over. Okay. When I say it's over, like this is the place to do it. It's Tastyworks. Tastyworks just lets you do more, okay, with less capital. And I'm telling you right now, this is why you want to sell premium. Positive, like theta decay. You can do this in small accounts. You can be wrong market direction and still produce profitable trades. You never have to buy or sell the stock. And it's an incredibly high probability of success. Okay. The other aspect is, as I said, even if you don't want to trade options, you can do this against existing positions. Right? You can actually learn to sell options. No day trading margin rules, nothing against existing positions. I'm telling you right now, you need this in your life. You want to survive the next couple of years in this business. This is, by the way, this bear market, forget about it going away. Who cares? You think we're going back to all-time highs anytime soon? This is going to be a long time to work through the process. Okay. I mean, if you looked at, from the time the Nasdaq crashed, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, you're all the way back to 2007 before the marketplace hit new highs, only to see financial crisis before you actually hit new highs again. I mean, it's ridiculous. It was like a lost, it's a lost decade, only to have, the next decade basically lost. People don't have time. Like, you've got to learn how to do this stuff. And I emphasize it not because, I need you to be part of TheoTrade. Really, you need to do something. Selling premium can bring in consistent returns while minimizing your risk. You want to learn it the right way. We're going to talk about criteria in a second. Here's live trading examples. By the way, variations of all the following trades can be done in a $2,000 funded brokerage account. Obviously, that funded brokerage account is Tastyworks. Just to give you an idea, okay? I'm running through trades, okay? The trades, these are just screenshots. Every trade here, it's the last 18 months, okay? Everything's the last 18 months. This is my track record for the last 18 months on individual trades. I'm just going to kind of glance through it, okay? You can see what I traded, everything I traded. And the reason I take you through this is, like, look, there's a 19% loss. It happens, okay? The losses are pretty nominal, but I can actually run through, literally, this is almost a year and a half of results, okay, that I'm running through. Every trade that you're seeing here, every single trade, okay, is sent out to clients. So you can, when I say every single trade sent out to clients, you want to learn how to do this, we give you that. It's part of TheoTrade, okay? And everybody's like, well, what does TheoTrade cost? I just told you, just open up a Tastyworks account, it's yours. We're not charging right now for TheoTrade because we've come to this conclusion, like, listen, people are not going to be okay in this business. Like, you don't understand. We see retail clients every day. We have 6,000, okay, people on the TheoTrade platform. Pretty good. I don't know any other educator that has that. And the reason we do it, okay, we do right by these people. By the way, I started trading ES short puts in here, so everybody can do this. Even with like $2,000 account, you can do these trades. But I'm just ripping through some of the returns, and you can see, again, there's 100 plus trades in here. By the way, this is Christmas tree trades. This gets a little bit complicated. You could do these in the micros too. I say this gets a little complicated. I get excited about these trades because this is big boy stuff, right? This is a complex trade, but look at this. A $21 credit, bought it back for $3. It's a grand slam, man. Right? This stuff is like, I started to add just some complexity in here, and I just rip through every trade. And every one of these, again, this is an alert. When I say an alert, these are trades not only that you can do with us, okay? We want you to do these trades with us. Like, we're telling you what the trades are. We're texting the trades out. In fact, we have push notification, right? So if you can't get a text, we actually push it out through our mobile application. Doesn't matter where you are. Right. So again, here's some of the returns. This is even this year. So this is that was another big Christmas tree that we just closed in March. I'm just ripping through return after return after return, just to give you a quick feel. Right. Another Christmas tree spread. Right. All the way into May. I haven't, by the way, I haven't updated past May. If you're kind of curious and you want to see what our portfolio looks like, okay, here, this is TheoTrade. And when I say when I want to know what a portfolio looks like, this is the portfolio. Okay, where it's literally like copy and paste. You get to see every single trade that we put into the portfolio. Okay, like every trade. And I trade some bonds in here. This is only one of the portfolios. We also have another portfolio. Okay, it's called the TheoTheo Small Portfolio. In the TheoTheo Small Portfolio, okay, you can see smaller size, right? So we actually are opening and closing trades in the micro S&Ps, smaller size, par for the course. Like, that's what we do. If you don't have a lot of time, that's why we send out text messages. Okay. A lot of the orders that you use here, you can also use good till canceled, which is set and forget. So you don't have to sit in front of your screen all day long. Right. And I think it's important. Right. And by the way, we're now doing, and if you're kind of curious, somebody was saying, it's not, we're doing enough trades over here. In an average couple of days, we've got 5 different portfolios now, literally 5 different portfolios that we are trading. And you can start to get a feel for the number of trades. It depends on which portfolio you track in here, okay? But you can get a feel for the number of trades we're actually doing in here. You don't have to sit here and trade, a phenomenal amount to be profitable, okay? But here we are, the 21st, okay? There's 1, 2, 3, 4 trades, okay? Only 2 left open profitably in here, but this SPY trade is actually a big boy trade, right? Lots of stuff being done. So what our members are saying, this comes from Thomas, I'm up 80K since January 1st, 2022, okay? Anyway, rolling positions, onward and upward, characteristics of selling ultimate premium, the attributes of selling high probability premium undeniable. Again, you don't have to buy or sell a stock, it's high probability. We don't use anything like a stop order, okay? Vary time frames to minimize risk. Probability of profitability is high. It's a perfect strategy though, to enhance a stock portfolio if you still have a stock portfolio. And of course, you can do this in any account size. And I really stress that. Don't let the options portion of this intimidate you, okay? I'm just gonna lay it out right now. What we do here at TheoTrade is to get you ramped up, right? One of the things that we have, this is a start here menu, okay? So this is TheoTrade, and this is how it works. Options 101, options 201. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm brand new, okay? I am brand new. Somebody said 80K in 6 months. Yeah, 80K in 6 months. That individual, by the way, it's not only is, I know exactly what they actually traded. This actually was predominantly selling premium and in-out spreads. So it's 2 of the portfolios that we have, if you're kind of curious. One of the things I stress over here is don't be too concerned with getting ramped up. Like, a lot of people think that we're just going to throw you into the deep end of the pool. Like, we have, here's options 101, options 201, options 301, order execution, part 1, 2, and 3. This is everything you would need if you're an absolute novice, that's there. So if you want to learn this business and learn to do it the correct way, like options, initially everything gets people get intimidated by it, but you shouldn't, okay? It's again, I'd probably be intimidated if I didn't know how to use a power saw, but once you know how to use it, hey, it's a pretty easy way to cut a 2x4. If you don't know how to use it, you lop off a couple of fingers. You can sell premium. And I'm telling you, I'm just very adamant that you need a skill set moving forward, and the skill set, and when it comes down to it, and what we do here at TheoTrade is we can show you it takes a couple of hours to sell premium and to minimize the risk. And the way that we actually do this, and I'll actually show you a little bit about it, okay, is we take you through these recipes, okay, which is, it's almost like baking a cake. It's step-by-step criteria to learn how to do this. This is what you need to know, though, to successfully sell Ultimate Premium for a living. You got to know which stocks, indices make the best candidates. I showed you these. You got to know what the volatility should be, okay? The one thing I'm going to tell you, there's no reason for any of you listening to this right now, please, I beg you, don't just run out and go try to sell premium. You know, I know a lot of people that come to, like, you know, this free session. Okay, there's no reason that any of you should do that. Every single one of you can get access now to TheoTrade, and you're not paying for it. We're buying you a membership to the small exchange. You don't pay for it. The only thing you do is you fund a Tastyworks account. We have a marketing agreement with Tastyworks. Why do they do that with us? Because we provide them phenomenal clients that actually survive in times of volatility. I mean, that's why this works. So we give you the right volatility. We give you the right products. Okay, the expiration you select. Have you looked at an option chain lately? Like, look how many expirations there are. It's ridiculous. Okay, we give you the right expiration. Okay, we give you the delta of the option you sell. What delta do you buy? How do you build the position? Like, you know, how many hedges should I use? Okay, versus how many options am I going to sell? Do I need a large amount of capital? Of course not. What's the right amount of risk for me? What are the percentage returns supposed to be? How do I protect myself from market crashes when selling options? Yeah, well, we use VIX volatility spreads, inflection point spreads. Again, let me show you exactly what we do here at TheoTrade. Theo isn't just going to teach you to sell options, okay? We develop recipes in trading, okay? Trading's about answering what ifs. What might be a good stock or ETF candidate to sell premium? The correct expiration cycle. How much capital to generate premium? What strike options do I sell? How many do you buy? Can I limit my risk? All right. We build these recipes. They're checklists with definitive criteria for each unique strategy, okay, and each unique variable. I mean, to give you an idea of, like, how do you even get into this? Like, how many options do you sell? How many options do you buy? What do I use for a hedge? What should my allocation be? Then once the strategy's on, what am I going to do? It's a pre-flight checklist, just like a pilot would use. Okay. But then when the pilot's, you know, up in the air, most of the time nothing happens. When something does happen, they have an in-flight checklist too. Like, oh, okay, you got to basically defend yourself at some point. TheoTrade is the answer to the questions. To give you the right probability. How many contracts? When do you actually close your premium sell? What if we sell off big? What do I bail out of the trade? What if we rally massively? Can I fix losing positions? It's how, when, where, at what price. That's what you're going to face while selling Ultima options for a living. Okay, and it's critical. You can read what selling Ultima Premium is. Maybe even how to build a few trades. Okay, but what you really need is TheoTrade's recipe for success, and that's what we offer here. Is we had 20 plus years of trading experience. By the way, I say we, that's just me. There are 7 other full-time instructors here, which I'll introduce momentarily. We had access to client order flow for 15 years. That is both thinkorswim and TD Ameritrade. We viewed and studied millions of trading accounts. We know everything that works and everything that doesn't work. Again, I ran education for 15 years at thinkorswim and TD Ameritrade. Say we know what works. Criteria comes, okay, from that knowledge, and criteria is your recipe for success. We spent years working on Ultima, okay? Follow the steps to build a trade. The Ultimate Income Generator course, it's a 5-hour class, okay? The slide deck that has all the entry and exit criteria, okay? It's yours, okay, immediately for download. To get all of this, again, we do not sell the class. Open a Tastyworks account. That's it. Why open a Tastyworks account? Open a Tastyworks account. When I say that's it, right? 5-hour class and much more. And again, I'm going to explain a little bit about Tastyworks, and I want to explain much more about what you get in TheoTrade, okay? But what we're so adamant about specifically for today is that you understand you need a skill set moving forward. And we want it to be, TheoTrade, the Ultimate Income Generator course curriculum. What we're going to do is I'm going to walk you through the curriculum for Ultima. Then I want to explain a little bit about Tastyworks and TheoTrade. We're going to actually teach you in the Ultima course how to build a portfolio of high probability trades, okay? So that you can actually reap the benefits of decay and produce monthly returns. We're going to give you the detailed entry and exit criteria for selling options premium while still mitigating risk. We are going to talk a little bit about the Greeks, okay, during the course. Then we actually talk about risk array in order to visualize profits and risk, okay? Really before markets are ever going to move. How to properly allocate in a way that reduces risk. Discover risk mitigation techniques for the most extreme market environments. You're never going to be caught off guard, right, by big moves, and how to sell premium in small account. How to sell premium in a small account. That is a 2-hour portion of the class, okay? And it's all taught specifically on Tastyworks using, okay, micro S&P options on futures, all right? Open a Tastyworks account now. I want to reiterate, if you open a Tastyworks account now, you get 90 days of TheoTrade membership. By the way, everybody asks, what does TheoTrade cost after that? It's $100 a month. Okay, that's not an introductory rate. It's $100 a month. Everything that I talk about today is yours, including like we have trade alerts. Okay, we have a chat room. We have access to infinite. But after you decide, after 3 months, maybe 3 months is enough for you. Maybe it's not. It's okay, right? We want people to see what we offer, and we think that this is the most viable way. You get 90 days of TheoTrade membership. It's totally on the house. It's included. Tastyworks, in addition, Tastyworks is a brokerage platform. TheoTrade is purely education. Tastyworks is going to hand you $200, okay, just for opening up the account, okay, or moving a new account. So if you're moving from thinkorswim over to Tastyworks, they'll still give you that, okay. TheoTrade pays for a lifetime subscription to the small exchange, okay. We literally pay $100, so please use it. You're also going to get yourself a free ticket, okay, enrolling for this. When I say enrolling for it, the only way you're enrolling for it, you open up the Tastyworks account. Once we verify that the Tastyworks account is open and funded, it has to be funded, okay? Brandon Chapman has a Ultima Mastermind. It is a 6-week course. It's $1,000. If you wanted to go buy it, we give it to you. It's $1,000 if you wanted to buy it, we'll give it to you. It starts July 18th. So you have less than 3 weeks to get the account up funded. And I say less than 3 weeks. It takes us a few days to be able to verify accounts. There's that many accounts that we're opening for Tastyworks. It takes us a few days to be able to verify, okay? If you go now to theotrade.com/Tastyworks, by the way, there's much more to TheoTrade. I just wanted to bring this up really quick, okay? It's theotrade.com/Tastyworks. To come in here, open a new brokerage account. Again, here's all the different bonuses we give you. Tastyworks, okay? Get yourself a ticket to Brandon's new mentorship. I mean, again, we're giving you like $2,100 in value just for opening up a Tastyworks account. Again, theotrade.com/Tastyworks. In addition to it, we're going to give you a brand new class. It's the Inflection Point Spread class. It's a 3-hour class. It's archived. It's ready to go. The Inflection Point Spread class. It's basically how to actually put on an ultimate trade all in one transaction. We're going to sell premium and hedge in one transaction. We're going to give you detailed entry criteria for the inflection point. What I'm using right now in markets is the inflection point. The inflection point is what's scoring right now. You can see one here in the spiders. This is an inflection point spread. Look, I'm selling 10 contracts, okay, of a 300 put, and I'm actually using what's termed 5 contracts of an inside hedge. Okay, very negligible margin, and that's a big boy position. So you're going to learn how to find inflection point spreads so you can safely allocate. Again, what our members are saying, because of Theo, I closed my entire portfolio with profits, 0 loss, all cash. Okay, this is as recent as it gets. Now let me explain a little bit about TheoTrade and all the bonuses. TheoTrade is not just one class or one indicator. We're not just giving you Ultima, we're not just giving you inflection point spread. We get that people want everything at one place, okay, and at one price. The price right now is 0. Again, you just open up a Tastyworks account. So, by the way, the Brandon Chapman, okay, Brandon Chapman class, it's included. It's $1,000 mentorship. It's included. The Quick Start Beginner's Guide. This is all part of TheoTrade. You get a Quick Start Beginner's Guide. What is that? And again, I'll reiterate. This is going in here and understanding this whole Start Here menu for those of you that are option newbies. That's part of it. Number two, access to 100 different trading classes. Okay, since we started TheoTrade, right, we have hundreds of classes. Like for instance, options, option newbies, technical analysis, bonds, stocks, day trading, hedging. We're not a one-trick pony. We don't just sell premium. Okay, we're get you guys prepared for everything. As I said, it's like Netflix. Want to learn the inflection point strategy class, income accelerator? Okay, here's Ultima, one of our newest classes, Z spreads. In fact, we have another brand new class rolling out in about a week, which is actually going to be Matt Williamson. But anyway, you click on the inflection point spreads class. You're kind of curious how this works. Okay, this is it. Okay, this is the class. It's playing. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Okay, so we actually start walking you through what an inflection point spread is. You can download the slide deck. It's all in here, right? You get access to every class that we've done since we started TheoTrade. Bonus 3, you get access to our chat room. What is our chat room, people? This is TheoTrade. What is TheoTrade? This is live right now. Okay, this is live, so you're actually seeing. Okay, believe this is Brandon Chapman possibly right now. Brandon is actually live. You get to actually talk, okay, to other clientele inside of the chat room. It's fair game. Any given day, there's between 3,000 and 4,000 different people throughout the course of the room. We have about 6,000 people total on the platform. In addition to the chat room and being able to chat with clients, you get text and trade notifications, different trade ideas. Okay, there are 5 different portfolios. You also get email support. So you open up a Tastyworks account, you get all of this, okay, including the email support. That's email support with us. You can bounce ideas off of us. Email any of us, okay? When I say any of us, Jeff Bierman, Matt Williamson, Corey Rosenblum, Brandon Chapman, Steve Miller, Tony Rago, Blake Young, and myself. Said we have a staff. Everybody here on this crew has over 15 years experience, okay? Most of which are actually upwards of about closer to 20 to 25 years of experience in here. It's actually everybody working from home during the COVID shutdown. We give you proprietary indicators and scans. It's all part of it, okay? Bonus number 4, TheoTheo Live portfolio. This is the Ultima portfolio, okay? And we have a small portfolio specifically for those of you that have an account, like $2,000 or $5,000 account, no holds barred approach. We give you access, full disclosure, opening all trades, closing trades, hedging positions. It's all part of it, okay? This is what the portfolio happens to look like. We just run down all the different trades. We even give you a weekly update, okay? So, by the way, somebody was saying trades made in the SPX. No, we do not trade the SPX, and you should not either. As retail, stay away from the SPX. Okay. By the way, that's where I come from, man. So when I talk about the SPX, I'll tell you right now, there are few people in this business that understand the SPX better than we do here at TheoTrade. Several of us that work here worked in the SPX. I say in the SPX, in the SPX. So I come from a background of 1-5 arbitrage in the SPX. If you trade the SPX, okay, it's not good. It's definitely not good. And I don't know if people understand. They just opened up another trading floor in Chicago just to be able to trade that SPX to get lots of edge on you. Okay, sorry, I went off on a tangent on that one for a second. If you cannot watch a bunch of TheoTrade, it's fine. In 12 minutes, on a Friday, we update you on every trade that we've done. Somebody was commenting earlier, there's not enough trades. Okay, watch the trade updates. The trade updates give you everything. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh, there's a ton of trades, okay? There's a ton of trades that have gone out. So every trade that we do throughout the course of the week is updated in a 12-minute video. Why I did it, how I did it, when I got in, at what price. And you know, like this stuff is not all about like timing, okay? Not all about timing in there. So don't think you're missing anything. But I want you to know there's a new weekly update video. Bonus number 5, there's a technical analysis toolkit. Bonus 6, day trading treasure chest. This is all part of it. Bonus 7, I would write this one down. 5 essential building blocks to successful trading with Steve Miller. Okay. Why would I write this one down? This class alone is easily worth $1,000, easily. We give you everything else. We're actually giving you TheoTrade. We're giving you Steve Miller's class, all part of it. Bonus 8, quick start guide to ultimate trades. Okay, this is to get you up and selling premium immediately. Thank you. By the way, is what our members are saying. Thanks for the replies. Very much appreciated. TheoTrade is the first educational trading service that I'm actually making a profit with, and one which I can see a pathway to retirement. We give you everything. Everything you're going to need: trade, classes, coaching, email access to the instructors, live trading room, live trades, indicators and scans, mobile access 24/7. Everything you're going to need. Okay. You need something, you email us for it. We literally built like the Netflix for traders. Okay. This is TotalTheo. Right now, okay, access to the trading classes, monthly classes, inflection points, spreads, the live chat room every day. You can sit in there all day if you want. We literally broadcast now for 6.5 hours a day. It's TheoTrade.com/tastyworks. Again, one of our members are saying, my closed year-to-date profit from Ultimate Trades has paid for my yearly TheoTrade subscription. You know what's ironic about that? You don't have to pay for the first 90 days of TheoTrade, okay? Again, this is everything you get. TheoTrade.com/tastyworks. It's Ultima, beginner start guide, 100+ trading classes, access to the chat room and email access to us, TheoTheta portfolio, okay, technical analysis toolkit, day trading treasure chest, mindset mastery, the Ultimate Trades quick start guide. Open a Tastyworks account now. The only way to get this, okay, is open a Tastyworks account now. If you want to come here and you want to pay for TheoTrade, that's fine, okay, but we urge you, open the Tastyworks account. You're going to want to trade through them. 90 days of TheoTrade membership, totally on the house. By the way, your membership starts, okay, just after you have funded the account. Tastyworks is going to hand you $200. TheoTrade is also going to hand you a lifetime small exchange subscription fee. It's a $100 value. And probably the biggest bonus in here, you get 6 weeks, okay? It's a beginner's guide to Ultimate Trades Mastermind, right? It's a very small group. I mean, we have 6,000 clients, okay? This is going to be a very small group. Starts July 18th, okay? It's a 6-week beginner's guide to Ultimate Trades. And you think that, oh, you're experienced. I'm telling you, okay? What Brandon does over the 6 weeks is phenomenal because I'm actually constructing that 6-week mastermind with him. Go to TheoTrade.com/tastyworks. As I said, Tastyworks also entered into a partnership with the small exchange to where every TheoTrade member, which if you open up a Tastyworks account, you'll receive access, of course, to none other than the small exchange. So what our members are saying, first 4 trades following exactly the details in your Ultimate class, just closed out GTC right after getting into this. It's paid for your class in less than a week. I'm very thankful I subscribed to your services. Keep up the good work, Jeremiah, right? This is a little bit, some more recent, okay? With that, I want to be able to answer a couple of questions here. I mean, this couldn't be easier today because, again, the only thing that you need to do is go into open a brokerage account. By the way, when it says open account, obviously people are going to ask a couple of questions about Tastyworks. There are a vast number of different types of accounts that you can actually come in here and open. Everybody kind of asked that question in here, right? So there's a vast number of accounts. Okay, Tastyworks is a very, it was started off as a smaller brokerage, it's very mainstream. The company was recently acquired for over $1 billion. It hit unicorn status. They are, again, they actually clear through Apex, which is basically the largest independent clearinghouse, okay, in the US. So again, really, really great firm. I think you guys will absolutely love the technology. All right, back over here, questions answered. What do you need to get started? A laptop, internet connection, okay? Speaking of which, Tastyworks has a phenomenal, phenomenal iPad app. By the way, we're not even doing a membership today, but we don't ever do auto renew or auto bill. You don't have to give us any credit card number. All you have to do is open up a Tastyworks account. We do weekly videos to update you on all the moves that we make over here. So, by all means, and I'm making sure that I get everybody's question in here. After you actually open and fund the Tastyworks account, you're going to add your cell phone number, okay? Because that way we'll be able to get you push notifications and text notifications in all your trades. You can download TheoTrade mobile. That's part of TheoTrade. We actually have, again, our own mobile application. Make sure that everybody sees that. So TheoTrade mobile. Apologize, I got a million things open on here. Anyway, if you're kind of curious, you can almost see it. This is TheoTrade mobile. And on TheoTrade mobile, all right, when we actually do, okay, different messaging, you can actually see all the different trades that we actually run through. So this is push notification. Every single trade that we do is actually pushed through on the mobile app. So if you don't like text messaging, we can do push notification. All right. But when you are, after you're funded and ready to go, okay, add your cell phone number. Okay. You can email us anytime. As soon as you're up and running, you can email us anytime. Receive a response within 24 hours. By the way, we'll email you trade related questions. That's par for the course. We're totally cool with that. You're going to gain access to every course TheoTrade has done in the previous 5 years, including classes, coaching. Okay. Our archives, we have an entire search engine built into the archives of TheoTrade. In fact, go over here to member home and I'll show you just that. Okay. So right here, you just go into search. I mean, you can type in anything pretty much you can dream of. Like, for instance, pairs, okay, trading. Like, people don't even know what pairs trading is, but you give us a topic and I guarantee you there's something in there. Pairs trading revisited, pairs trading 101, pairs trading, pairs trading. I mean, I figured I'd throw something like obscure out there. You name a topic, it's in there. Okay. Variations, all the trades that we do are available to be traded in an IRA. By the way, I am very IRA friendly. I trade extensively inside of my IRA. You're like, well, why? I don't know. This is tax deferred. I don't need the money. I haven't needed the money in a lot of years, but I like it. I like it. So I actually trade extensively inside of my IRA. And it's one of the reasons that we started working with Tastyworks, because Tastyworks, they don't just provide IRAs or SEP IRAs, okay, and Roth IRAs, which they provide all of that. They let you do any trade you want, okay, with a couple $1,000s inside of your IRA. Nobody else does that. And you go, is there an advantage? No. All the other brokerage firms are capable of doing that. They just choose not to. So remember, get results, take action, and enroll for Tastyworks and get into TheoTrade. Again, I'm just going to reiterate and throw this up on the screen over here. So it's theotrade.com/Tastyworks. I'm going to answer just a few general questions over there. Okay. By the way, yeah, you have to wait until your account has to be opened. Okay. They do a verification, and once it's verified, you can fund. Some people can fund almost immediately. Once in a while, there's like a little bit of a hold. It just depends on the individual. So once in a while, they'll be like, I need to see this. They have to make sure that you're a real person. It's actually what they call know your customer rule. It has to actually goes all the way back to what's termed the Patriot Act from ways back. It's almost 20-year-old Patriot Act over there. Anyway, listen, if there's any other questions throughout the course of this process, that's it. It's just theotrade.com/Tastyworks. What about you? But I rather enjoy this. By the way, for the gentleman that was asking about SPX, I'm dead serious. I don't care if it's your money. Okay, don't trade that product unless you are wildly experienced. The SPX is the mother of all products. It's where good traders go to do very bad things. So please, okay, please. Keep that in mind. All right. So bear with me here for a second. All right. With that, I'm just scrolling back, making sure we got almost all of this. Okay. By the way, spiders. Oh yeah, man. Spiders are one of the most pivotal products out there. And you know what's interesting also? The some of the newer contracts. So these ES options on futures, I love it. I know like this is like a mystery to people, and the options on futures contracts, okay, they're not just growing. Like everybody that really knows this business. Let me just show you the volume in here. This is the volume just for today. Like that's volume today. This is options on futures contracts. You go, look, I mean, there's almost 6,000 of these things that have traded today. This is just an option. There's 1,000 here, 1,000 here. I mean, it's insane how many contracts are trading in an option on futures. And everybody goes, well, why are they doing that? Because it avoids the day trading margin rule. It's a lot of retail traders now that are involved in options and futures because you can't trade spiders because, the day trading margin rule. And I love talking about that stuff. okay? By the way, you don't even have to type in the U2, it automatically does that. You just type in the root symbol. The root symbol is /ES. If you're curious about U2, the U2, U means SEP, that's September. So it's ES, which is a symbol, which is S&P options and futures. The U means September, and the 2 means of 22. So when the symbol first came out, when I first started trading, one of the first questions I always I asked somebody, they always call the S&P options and futures or whatever, okay, or S&P futures, they always call them SPOOs. So it's actually become SPOOs. It's because the first futures contract was SP, okay, for S&P, right? The U stood for September, okay? The S was just added, but instead we made it a Z, so it's SPOOs, right? Funny enough, Z is actually December of all things. Anyway, I want to thank each and every one of you for attending today. Just go to TheoTrade.com/Tastyworks, open an account with Tastyworks, fund it. We'll get you guys set up on TheoTrade as soon as we possibly can. We'll also, of course, give you a subscription to none other than the small exchange and a ticket, of course, to Brandon Chapman's mentorship. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a wonderful afternoon. Bye-bye.